So we're here today with the Science Festival meetup for Mrs. Meadows' second grade class. Welcome. And we are here with the Humpty Dumpty Seatbelt Safety.
My name's Eddie Wood. I'm a nurse at Korea Near Valley Medical Center here in Christiansburg. And what I do is I work in the emergency room, but one of my main jobs is to reach out to the community. If I train the nurses here, then I reach out to the community. I try to prevent accidents. And I really don't want to see any of you guys in my emergency room, tore up, broken arms, cuts, and I know you don't want that. So we're going to talk about something that's really important today. And you may have already heard it, I'm sure you have from your parents, but sometimes we need reminders because it still goes on. So when you get into your car, going somewhere with your mom or dad or a friend, what's the first thing that you should do when you get into the car? Seatbelt, yes, you're correct. You're the winner. It's so important. That little strap that hooks around you can save your life. It reduces your chances of being seriously injured by 75%. It don't completely take away the risk in a really bad accident, but it does help you immensely. So I'm going to show you a few slides. So can y'all guys see the car? Looks bad, don't it? This lady, young lady, was coming home one night about midnight doing what she wasn't supposed to do. She was texting and driving. I teach distracted driving to all the driver's ed kids from East Montgomery all into Wythe County. And I'll bring this picture up because my point is she wasn't doing what she was supposed to. She ran under a tractor and trailer. But because she was wearing her seatbelt and stayed in that safe zone where the engineers have designed these cars to absorb all that energy. They look bad, but they're meant to look bad. They got what they call crumple zones to absorb that energy because there's a lot of science in a crash. And energy, when it's created, is coming back towards you. They absorb it before it gets to you. This lady walked away with minor cuts and bruises. Wow. And I just want to show you how important that seatbelt is. And here's something. This little boy here, and you'll see the boy with the brace on, goes all the way up to his chin on his back. He was driving down the road, decided that he wasn't wearing his shoulder strap. He put it behind him, just had the lap belt on. That's no good. What happened, his mom wrecked, he slung forward and it severed his spine. So he's gonna have to wear this brace probably the rest of his life and not get to do some of the things you're gonna do. So that's why it's so important. Do one little simple thing and stay out of my emergency room. I'll take care of you if you come there the best I can, but I don't want to see you there hurt. I got 3 young men that I've raised and I don't want to see them hurt either. So, yes, he will recover. It's not going to take a long, long time, but he never will fully recover and a lot of money involved. So, anybody heard of Sir Isaac Newton? You will. I promise you, in science class. I'm not going to bore you with all of his laws, but I'm going to simplify his main law. And what he said, he was like, before cars were even invented, he was around, but he was smart. He thought a lot. You're going down the road at 55 miles an hour, and you're not wearing your seatbelt like you're supposed to, and you crash, you hit a tree, you hit a metal bridge, and your car stops. Guess what you do? You continue going 55 miles an hour because you didn't wear your seatbelt and your head hits the windshield. Your chest slams into the steering wheel. You may even fly out the window and the car roll over on top of you. And that's why it's so important. You have a lot better chance of surviving if something happens. I don't want to scare you, but crashes do happen. People do silly things, and you'll find out as you grow older, people are silly. So we want to be as safe as we can when we get in the car. And tell your moms and dads, because I believe that some of them may skip that little step, and you remind them because keep them safe, okay? So with all that being said, I'm going to unshare my screen here a minute. And I'm going to give you a little demonstration, okay? So every year at Virginia Tech Science Fair, I come over to demonstrate this. It's a pretty big hit. I usually break about 400 or 500 eggs every time I come over, but because it's virtual, I'm going to only break 2 today. So what I have I built a ramp to demonstrate a crash of about 35 to 45 miles an hour. And I have me a nice Barbie Cruiser because that's the only thing I could find that the egg would fit in. And I don't know if you can see, but there's an egg strapped in. I put them in a plastic bag because I don't like cleaning the messes if he was to break. And then I had to use a little tape because these were meant for Barbie and Ken, not for eggs. He's shaped funny. Anyway, he's strapped in. He's called Humpty. He's a good egg. Dumpty is here. He's the bad egg. He's going to be riding in the passenger seat, not wearing his seatbelt. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out and we're going to have a crash. Are y'all ready? Here we go. You see that? All his insides are running out. We don't want that to be anybody's head or body. So he crashed. I'll take him out in a minute and show you how he survived, okay?
Wow.
So he's still alive.
That's amazing.
So I know it's a simple demonstration, but it's just how it works. So now tell me your questions.
That car crash that you showed at the beginning, was that a real car crash?
Yes, it sure was. And that story that I told you about the girl texting, when you text and have a wreck, the police will pull up your phone records and they will tell what you were doing at the time of the accident. So they knew she was texting, and she did. She ran under that tractor and trailer. And the reason I show that is to show how safe the new cars are made. They look worse than the old cars when they crash, but they're made to look like that because they keep the driver safe. When I first started driving, I didn't even have a seatbelt. Just how dangerous it was and how old I am.
I know now why seatbelts are important, because they protect us and keep us safe.
You're very true, and you keep repeating that over and over and tell your parents, okay? I got a question for you. And does anybody think that seatbelts stretch? You know, when you get in there, they're pretty tough, aren't they? But in a crash, and there's a lot of energy involved and a lot of weight going through, they will stretch just enough to help slow you down. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt. You sometimes have marks on your chest in a bad accident, but you're alive, and we can deal with that. Will I always survive if I'm wearing my seatbelt? I can't tell you that. Nothing's for sure. You're 75% more likely to live, but the really, really bad crashes, sometimes even they're not enough. But I like to take my odds with a 75%.
The new cars are safe because even though they stretch, it will hurt, but it won't kill you.
You're exactly right. And what happens if you have 4 people in the car, 3 people are wearing a seatbelt and 1 isn't? What happens then? And you have a bad wreck. Mason? Was it?
He said they could be killed.
That's true. But if you think about it, that person's not wearing a seatbelt. That person is like a human missile. They're rolling all around the car. They could break somebody else's neck. They can, all kinds of things can happen. Yes, they could get killed, but they could kill someone else. So when you get into the car, make sure everybody's buckled up. Well, guys, I enjoyed it. And thank you so much for inviting me into your classroom. And I hope y'all stay safe.
Thank you also, Ms. Meadows' class, for all of your great questions. And thank you, Eddie, for taking the time and sacrificing the eggs for us.